Okay, continue where we left off.
Show yourself, demon.
Yeah, we got the Ramesses when he was very young, like a teenager, or in his 20s. After he escapes from Egypt when Mumra took over, he has to meet Mirage. And hold on, let's see how this goes.
The son of the fallen pharaoh comes seeking an audience with Mirage.
I do not seek an audience with anyone. I am Pharaoh of Egypt.
Soon. You're still a prince, though.
Be careful, boy. You are nothing to me. If you come seeking my help, make your case.
My family is imprisoned. My people enslaved.
Yep.
Mumra has claimed the throne for himself.
I seem to recall your people enslaving those weaker than yourself to build your pyramids.
Just call out of his hypocrisy. Not just his hypocrisy, but all of Egypt's hypocrisy. Because, yeah, they do have slaves and all, and I mean, dang, Mirage just roast him.
Why is Mumra's cruelty any worse?
He is a monster, worshipping his ancient spirits of evil.
Ancient spirits of evil? Impossible. The Oberati banished them to nothingness centuries ago.
When she says Oberonians, that's what she said. The Oberonians in Gargoyle series, it's basically the children of Oberon. In Gargoyles, they're not literally his children. They just. I think that it used to be the children of. I forgot her name. I think she was like Oberon's mother until he overthrew her because she was cruelty. And most of the children of Oberon are the Fays, of course. And Oberon is the king of the Fays. Or fairies, as you would call them. Well, in the series, they're not called the fairies, they're fays. And there's a lot of creatures you never would expect to be the fays. Like, Anubis is part of the fae. The children of Oberon, even Odin, and... yeah, Puck is one of them, of course, and, Midsummer Night's Dream. The Weird Sisters, and... just every... I'll just leave the link down below. There's a lot to name. Oh yeah, and Anansi, the spider god dude. Yeah, he's part of it too.
What you say is true.
So yeah, what I get in the details is that the Oberonians, that are the children of Oberon, banished the ancient spirits of evil centuries ago. Yeah.
Perhaps we can help each other.
Well, it makes sense for Mirage and Ramesses to team up, because Mirage does look a kind of Egyptian. I mean, the way she's dressed, and even her realm has kind of an Egyptian style. The temple in her home, that is her home, that is. Okay, now for the next scene, we got this.
Frollo, Governor Bad. Why the panic? What's this I hear about you hanging around with some cute woman? What?
Oh, so yeah, it says here that Frollo's thing with a woman, for a prostitution kind of thing. It's been a talk over the town. His indiscretions, as I've already explained what it is now the talk all over the town.
It's all the buzz around the tavern. Didn't know you had it in you, Uncle Frollo.
At first I didn't know who voiced him, but it turns out it's Manwu's voicing him. As it says in the comments, hold on. It says, Gaston impersonation was spot on. That made me laugh so much. No one impersonates Gaston like Manwu. So I guess it is Manwu's impersonating Gaston, and that is pretty good, and that is him. Not gonna lie, Manwu is very good at impersonating characters like Cobra Commander, Crane, and I guess Gaston is also on that one. And yeah, that is spot on, I'm not gonna lie. Huh. Yeah, he's reminded of what it could mean for his reputation.
My place in power. Silence, both of you. I will take care of this ordeal, and I won't have a word of it from either of you.
Oh dear. Yeah, Frollo's gonna put an end to this whole thing. Hold on. Okay, now for this fight, Mirage versus Mumra. And it looks like Mumra is doing like a ceremony ritual. Hey, he looks very creepy when he's up close. Then Mirage, along with Ramesses and Hotep and Hoy, shows up. Well, yeah, the ritual has been ruined, and now they're gonna stop them. Yeah, it's still creepy with that kind of form. Yeah. Well, he's speechless. Don't matter to Mirage because she's blowing the whole place up. Well, actually, it's just throwing like things on top on him. The ones on the ceiling. I still have not seen Thundercats though. I guess they're in like inside of that ancient programmic pyramid that he was in. Well, that got his form out. Now he's just him again. Hold on.
I said hold your position, you miserable coward! Until next time.
And they're all just going on. Screw guys, I'm going home. Now that run away! In the vice of Monty Python. And Mirage is gonna go into his tomb, which is basically like his coffin or something like that. And he's sealed in there. Which, of course, in part 2, he's gonna end up teaming up with Ramesses. And Mirage wins. And now we get this scene. Yeah, Frollo returns to the slum, and he's, you know, face to face with that woman who was like his prostitute.
Frollo,
Hold on.
back for another round?
Quiet. Who did you tell?
I didn't say a word. But these walls have eyes. Who knows?
I should have known better than to trust an unholy leech such as yourself.
Well, that's rude. Hey, that's Enrico Maxwell, the villain I actually hate as a kid. No, I mean, Enrico Maxwell as a kid. He's still a villain I hate. So, when he called that woman from Spawn, the animated series, his mother, that's his mom? It was my first reaction knowing, but that was before I got to watch Hellsing. I didn't know anything about him until the whole thing with non-Disney Villains Tournament, and then watching Hellsing. Yeah, he's now the villain I truly hate, you know. That was back in, like, later years before I got my first YouTube channel.
Go away, Enrico.
The fight between the woman and Frollo. So I guess it's just the woman. She's not a vampire in Disney versus non-Disney villains. It's just a regular person. It's more like representing rather than saying, oh, all of Spawn is in it. Just like Dante's Inferno.
No!
And Frollo kills her.
Mother!
And I'm not sure that looks like a dullish reaction. I get it's only a footage of him in his one episode, but yeah. That's kind of traumatizing, even for this young Maxwell.
Now listen here, boy. If anyone asks, she was murdered by ruffians on the street. Or you can join her and face judgment.
Yeesh. Way to threaten a kid, especially a younger Enrico Maxwell. Okay, now for this fight, we got Keldor versus the Archmage. While we see Moserat just saying, just doing something until Keldor and his forces of evil shows up. You know, his army. That are basically his warriors. Keldor before he was Skeletor. I like that it's only in the before the fall rather than in just the wars going on now instead. I think it kind of makes sense because it is in the episode of He-Man there was the first episode they show like the origins of Keldor who became Skeletor. instead of just putting it on, like, the main series. Well, I mean, I'm getting a little mixed up on this one. I like that it's in this prequel series rather than in the part 1 and part 2 stuff, even though part 1 is only with movies. I just meant other wars should do that. And also, I know I said that we never saw Destain. I know we only saw this thing, but let me clarify this or be specific. We never seen Destain in his human-like style. We only seen him in his mumlock form. That's what I should have clearly said. And it's interesting that Keldor just wants a Grimoire Arcanorum from that Archmage. And it's still interesting that the Archmage is just playing the role of Destain. He threw that candle with the skull on... He threw that skull candle at Keldor. Hold on. That ought to hurt. From that skull with the candle on top. Thrown at him. And the Archmage wins, but... Then Moserat reveals a trick up his sleeve, and he does just like what in the series. I thought he was going to end up turning him into a mumlock, but no. He just throws him off the cliff and just falls to his death. Whoa. Very different from the main series, but interesting. But I do think we all know the Archmage will come back. Maybe for like part 3, because he did come back in part 3. And that was Disney versus non-Disney villains before the fall, part 2. And that was a pretty good one. And some parts were intense, but, well, mostly with Frollo then in it. And still entertaining. Guess there goes the deal with the Huntsman. So, see you guys in the next video.